Every June in Powell River, British Columbia, Canada, on the ancestral lands of the Chopin Nation, people gather from all over the world for the Prisma Festival. Join us as we bring you a taste of the music, conversation and celebration for which this event has become known. We do look forward to welcoming you back to the concert hall someday. But until then, this is Prisma on the Couch.
Welcome back to Prisma on the Couch, Thursday night episode.
We're so happy to see you again. We've really loved seeing everyone tune into our previous episodes and leaving your comments. So please continue with that. We read them diligently and we're just happy to check in with you all.
And that was Misty Oaks saying that to you from the couch. And I am
Arthur Arnold, our artistic director, and we coordinated our couch outfits today.
That seems to have worked out quite, what is the word?
Cohesively.
Oh. That's right.
So tonight, I think you checked in recently with Cheryl McKay.
Correct.
CBC.
So I was on North by Northwest last Sunday and asked Cheryl if she would be so kind to shoot a welcome for us. And Cheryl did.
Hi there, Cheryl McKay here from CBC from North by Northwest. I'm talking to you from the studio in Vancouver where I just finished the show, and I'm looking forward so much to watching with you, being part of Prisma on the Couch. Now, like so many of you, I'd planned to be there in Powell River this year as well, but I'm so glad to know that in spite of the fact that we can't be there physically, we can enjoy so much of the music, the conversations, and a big thanks to Arthur Arnold and all the team for putting that together. So I hope you enjoy, with me and so many others around the world, Prisma on the Couch.
I really love what Cheryl said about Prisma on the Couch being our opportunity to share the music and the conversations.
Absolutely, and there were so many conversations and so many memories. And that brings me back to Prisma on the Beach, 2016, where we celebrated the newly signed treaty of the Chopin Nation with the government of Canada on April 5. And we celebrated that with a new work that Drew Blaney composed and Tobin Stokes together. Drew Blaney the words, the song, and Tobin the orchestra materials for it. And that's together on the beach. So enjoy Prisma on the Beach 2016.
Powell River Pacific Region International Summer Music Academy draws students from all over the world to collaborate and learn in our beautiful West Coast community.
These players are amazing. They play with care, they play with love, they play with passion. This is something we do together as Powell River, and we should be proud of it.
Festival right now with such environment, great people, great staff, great faculty. I think that makes this really special.
I love how close we are and how we actually inspire each other to become better players, and we learn from each other too.
For everyone involved, it's that inspiration that fills a week chock full of workshops, performances, and this event, the free concert at Willingdon Beach.
It's not only the music, but the atmosphere, because everybody is so welcoming and you learn so much.
It's very exciting to be with a lot of musicians from all around the world and to have such a nice conductor.
It's really just the whirlwind experience, and especially the performing experience you get here and the quality of all the musicians here. It's almost like nothing I've ever seen or heard before.
Included in the performance was the flying acrobatics of the Fraser Blues Formation Demonstration Team to Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite. In addition to the already incredible orchestral program, this year we are also treated to a unique and beautiful collaboration.
Apart from being part of Prisma, which is always exciting, and Prisma on the Beach, which is always a fantastic community event, we're looking forward to joining with the Chopin First Nation in the celebration of their treaty. We have a commissioned piece of music which will blend modern music with traditional rhythms. It should be unbelievably exciting.
I was thinking like a Hilton.
Yeah, yeah.
The sun is rising over this land.
Yeah.
We are going to move forward.
Yeah.
And then another verse. We are coming together. We are going to move forward.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So everyone comes in on the
Hilton. And like it could be
or
said,
maybe the kukui as well.
Yeah.
But then the words are coming.
But and if it's gonna be in a choir too, like you can get the ladies to do part of it, and then the men with the deeper voices can do a part of it.
I'd like to introduce my piece of music here that we have been working on over the past couple of months, and the name of it is Hothosh Shlagametosh, and to us in our language it translates to our people are moving to a better place, our people are traveling or going to a better place. So that's what that word means.
The piece uses songs that and words that Drew has composed, and then it uses orchestral music that I've composed. And we've put them both together. So the first time we've tried this.
I spend a lot of time out on the land, and that's where I gather most of my songs. Where they come to me, it comes from the rivers, the birds, the sounds of the forest. So I spend a lot of time out on the beautiful traditional territory of the Tla'amin Nation, and that's where this song came from.
I just love the merging of the choir and just the orchestra together and the way that weaves in and out, and it's really incredible.
Everything fits together perfectly, and it just, I don't know, it gives, like, it's a really comforting feeling, and it's spiritualistic, and then it's really creative.
It's very special for the people of Powell River and the guests that are here to watch. What do you hope the reaction will be tonight?
I hope they realize, just like the two nations side by side, that we can work together.
That was wonderful to see all these faces, all these alumni, the happy people, Drew and Tobin. What a wonderful event was that.
We're just so lucky to have such amazing archival footage in our realm to share with people.
Absolutely, and I found actually in that pile of discs, honestly, it's a pile of hard drives, I found Mahler 2019 Mahler Symphony No. 4. And we are going to play the first movement for you.
Arthur, since COVID, been exercising a bit more, and I've been switching over to listening to classical music while I exercise, and so I listened to that piece earlier, and I felt much more relaxed at the end of my session.
I recommend next time you exercise, put on the third movement, and it will be a very beautiful, gentle exercise. Anyway, let's go to Roger Cole. Roger is going to talk to you about his current situation, how he deals with COVID, and how he has been the principal oboe of the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra for so many years. Roger is our longtime guest artist for oboe.
How, as a professional musician who, you make your living teaching and playing and everything, how do you not get completely freaked out by this COVID thing and caught up in the doom and gloom? Or if you do, how do you manage that? How do you keep optimism and let the art prevail, I guess?
Yeah, well, you just go one student and one day at a time. And for me personally, I've just made it a pledge that I'm going to practice every day. And sometimes I go, why am I practicing? Well, I'm practicing, so I can demonstrate for my students and hopefully sound a little bit better than they are, but they're also good. And then it is going to come back. There's no doubt that it'll come back. And it's like the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, we're doing lots and lots of things online to keep the musicians in the community. And we have a huge subscriber base that are just thirsting for music. And right now, over the internet is the best we can do.
It's been interesting to watch so many organizations, especially musical ones, kind of adapt. I mean, and there's so many restrictions with the online, it's online teaching or online performing, but thankfully there's some opportunities as well. And it's kind of yielded some new collaborations and new types of connecting. And I think new audiences in the long run, really, it opens, especially for Prisma, and I assume for a Vancouver-based orchestra, it kind of gives you the world a little bit more than you would.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra did was a concert on the stage of the Orpheum, but no audience.
Yeah.
And it was our Beethoven Festival, and we played Beethoven Symphony No. 5, No. 6, and the 4th Piano Concerto, which was actually fantastic because all the musicians and Otto, our conductor, Otto Tausk, I mean, we all knew how important this was for us. It might be the last time we play in a long time, and how important it was for Vancouver to get some music. So, and the result of that is those broadcasts have gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think we've reached new people. So, people always talk about silver linings. Maybe that's one. I always say I'd give up the silver linings any day to go back to what we had.
I know, right? Well, and I don't know if this is common knowledge yet, that you're looking at, the final year coming up for you there.
Yeah, it is common knowledge. Yeah, next year is my final 45th season with the VSO. So, boy, I'm going to be disappointed if that doesn't happen.
Right? Like, you're looking at this time and it's like a fuse burning on something. Like, you don't want to get sort of cheated out of that last season.
That's right. No, we had a lot of big plans for that. So, we'll see. I tell people I'm practicing my retirement right now.
One final question for you. This is Prisma on the Couch after all. So, do you have a favorite couch?
Yeah, well, I have a few favorite couches, but I can't go into why they're my favorite couches.
We'll leave it at that.
Well, it certainly is a time to be practicing retirement.
Let's go to the next segment. Edwin Kim, our pianist, is going to play the third movement of the Chopin Piano Concerto, not with orchestra, but with 5 strings, 5 guest artists on violin, viola, cello, and bass. And Edwin, actually, we flew him in 2015. There was an emergency, we had to replace pianist, and he came with 2 hours notice, he was on a plane from Baltimore and was here to play everything sight reading. And Powell River audiences love him.
Wow, I can see why Powell River audiences love him so much, and I know we're all looking forward to having him back one day.
Yeah, we'll for sure have him back in future episodes of this Prisma on the Couch in chamber music settings. But let's now move on to the Concerto Competition. We're going to hear from Taylor Fleshman, who won the Concerto Competition in 2018, and she made it to Moscow, and she recorded a harp concerto there. So there's quite a unique story here. Usually the students go to play in the Moscow Symphony Orchestra, but Taylor became the soloist, and that is quite special. Total coincidence and something very sweet and great for her career.
So, as part of the prize, you are supposed to go to Moscow to play in the orchestra and be, just join and collaborate with them. And I was really looking forward to that. I was so excited. And we were starting to get the ball rolling for that, but you contacted me and said, I have this great surprise and I want to see if you're interested. This is when you offered the Mosolov harp concerto idea and putting it on an Axis label. There was a lot of work behind it, marking scores, figuring out, what did Mosolov mean?
Well, so then you came to Moscow, and there you were rehearsing with the orchestra in the Mosfilm studios, recording the concert, and then it brought you to the grand hall of the Moscow Conservatory.
The hall's gorgeous. They have pictures of famous composers up on the wall of the hall, and you realize in that moment you're remaking history and being there, and it feels kind of like a tradition, and I really hope that the harp concerto continues to be performed, and maybe it'll be brought back up in Moscow with the harpists of the conservatory.
I remember backstage after the concert, all these girls around you, they all had flowers and they were hugging you, and it was like crazy backstage. It was fantastic.
Yes, and we don't even know each other. I had no idea they were even coming. It was such a sweet surprise, and it really shows the connection that musicians have between each other, even if there is a language barrier.
Yeah, also within the harp concerto of Mosolov, we had a premiere.
Yes. So we premiered the third movement back when Vera Dulova performed it. The conductor decided to cut it out for whatever reason. So when we did it, it was the world premiere.
You came back to Powell River last year to play the concerto here in the Evergreen Theater during Prisma. Well, that was so nice to see Taylor again. And, you know, I invited her back, as you could see in the movie, to Prisma 2019 to play that premiere of this harp concerto here in Powell River, both here on the stage and during Prisma on the beach.
It's so funny to be recording here in this empty Evergreen Theater, because I know during festival time the house would be full and our audiences would be here and they would have special access to watch Taylor in a master class.
Exactly. So these master classes, I hear from students every time that they are so endeared by having audience in the master class, and not 3 or 5 people, no. Many people come to these master classes. Let's listen to what our audience has to say about the Prisma master classes.
An essential part of a festival is not only for the students to get the best education we can offer them, but to make certain the audience is involved, not just for the major concerts, but for the other things that go along as well. And so we've set up this series of master classes which people can attend.
I like to hear what the instructors say and the students, and also to hear what they say about their instruments and what the instruments can do and not do. And then when you listen to them in when they do solos and stuff like the Limelight programs, you get more out of it because you know more about it.
It's the conductor's master class, which was for us the very first time. Well, we were just actually talking about it and how it really gives you a sense of the conductor's point of view and some of the elements that you never actually think about that the conductor is actually needing to pay attention to. That was really interesting.
Yeah, and to be able to see how each conductor is an individual in their own style and what they can bring out in their orchestra is just actually so interesting to see. To be able to see the orchestra from behind the scenes is like a whole learning experience, and that's what makes it so interesting, so wondrous to be able to come to this Prisma Festival and to get this kind of access.
Yeah, and I came last year, and this is really what I come for. Is these master classes are fabulous because I've learned so very much about different instruments and different approaches. So yes, absolutely worth it.
My favorite thing probably are the master classes. I mean, the concerts are wonderful, but I never miss a master class. I find them. I'm not a musician, but I sing a little bit, but that's it. But I love the master classes. Yeah.
The master classes, I think, are especially interesting because you start getting, for those of us who are not that knowledgeable in music, it kind of helps you understand when a musician is being really good, because you see how they put their heart into it. It's not only the hitting the right notes, but it's also the spirit of the music.
And it's also really high class music, and all the students are amazingly talented, and they get better all the time. So it keeps getting better. So I have to keep going.
I mean, actually, these are the best 2 weeks of the year for me.
For me, as a student, master classes were the most inspiring thing that I ever did.
Well, it's so amazing that through Zoom we can continue to offer these master classes. We've compiled a list of a few we've had running. Check it out.
One of the things that I want to be as a musician is I want to be a healthy practicer. Somebody who can go into the practice room and not be afraid to take a crazy idea and just try it out. Now this is very strange, right? But what you just heard, right, was I'm double tonguing with my tongue entirely over the bassoon reed. The bottom of my I know it sounds like the strangest thing in the world, and I don't do it, right? But can you just try that for a second? Lay your tongue on top of the reed.
That feels so weird.
Again, creating problems for me is often recreating problems, or learning the downside is often a shorthand for learning the upside, right? And often when you're faced with something, this always seems like such a complicated thing, double tonguing, right? And then to do it so wrong and have it mostly work, it's freeing in a way, right? Maybe it's not as hard as we make it out to be.
Actually, one of my colleagues, the same second trumpet player, he had this trick. If you're playing in an orchestra for long enough, you develop tricks for certain pieces. And he had this trick because he wasn't the fastest tonguer. So on Alvarado, he would play it on E-flat trumpet, that passage. And he found that you could play, you know, it starts on G sharps, or maybe C sharps. Yeah, C sharps.
Yeah.
So he would, on E flat, it was a B flat. So he could do between B flat and 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. He would do this hybrid tonguing and alternate valve thing where it sounded like triplets, but he was only double tonguing. He was like, so it actually works. So we all were like, hey, that's a pretty good idea.
That's pretty cool.
Is it something to pull out of your back pocket if the tempo is so fast that it's like impossible?
Yeah.
If the flutes are tripping over their part, like the 20 or 30 bars before you have to come in, then it's going to be hard when you come in.
Yeah, for sure.
They rarely go the full speed marked in the tempo. If you get a friendly conductor, they'll notch it back just very slightly. If you get someone who likes you. If they don't like you, they'll go faster.
The practice room has to be safe enough to try something where you think you're going to fail going in, just to learn about what failure might look like, right? And often I think the fail isn't as bad as we expect it to be, which means that success is much closer at hand than we might have imagined.
You know, Misty, what Mark says there about creating a safe place, that's what we do at Prisma. So we are so aware that we have to have a safe place for the students. When they play in orchestra, you have to be able to find your limits on your instrument. If you don't know where your limits are, you cannot improve. So you cannot be punished for that. You have to, this is great, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
I think we're in a time of a great opportunity to fine-tune and improve with all of our best practices.
Always, absolutely. Well, let's listen to some students and what their impression is of Prisma.
I'm playing with people from all over the world, which has been fantastic, and working with the maestro is really cool. Especially we're playing Shostakovich, and playing Shostakovich with a conductor who's currently in Russia was really special. So I really enjoyed that. People here are very talented, so very lucky to be part of the orchestra.
I've been really enjoying how orchestra-based this festival is, and especially we've been having excerpt classes for violin, and those have been really helpful and new to me. faculty was really amazing, and I had a shot to play with the orchestra here and play my concerto with the orchestra, so it was really, really exciting for sure. I've been having a really great time. So.
To me, like, the orchestra is something so big and powerful and energetic, or at least it can be. I feel like we should share something like that.
Well, we have coming up Dvorak Carnival. It's really a carnival of sounds and of energy, and it's bursts out of its whatever, how you say that, it bursts out of its, what can it burst out of?
Its center?
Sure, let's take that. We have a Dutch expression for this, but I cannot find it in English. Anyway, this energy, the audience there, you know, this is what makes Prisma so fantastic. Have a listen.
Wow, Arthur, way to send us off with a bang tonight.
Yeah, it is one of those pieces that that has so much energy. This was actually the first piece in the program that year, but totally amazing piece with a lot of flair and great stuff.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed. We're unfortunately at the end of tonight's episode, but tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock because we will be back for Prisma on the Couch.
Absolutely, and we'll show you more about Moscow and magic. So see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Good night.